Hello people of the internet, hope you are doing well. My name is Ryan Fiskus, here with a bit of a channel update for you, and a bit of a podcast thing, talk, discussion over whatever's coming up for the future of Apple. So, first of all, I want to say that it's probably obvious by now that there are some changes that have happened. We got a new light. That one's actually controlled by a smart light app, which means that I can change it realistically to whatever color I want. But today I like the red, so I'm going to put it there and keep it like that. Another thing you might have noticed is the sound quality is probably okay. I hope it's good enough. I've been putting some foam panels along the wall here, including some weird echoey box things that I feel like are catching some of the sound and pointing it in the right direction. I don't know, I'm not a sound engineer, but I think it sounds better and more dead in here than it did when I first got into this little closet space. That's actually what this is. This little studio space is a closet that we've converted into a computer room for me. So along with that, there is another big upgrade. We are no longer using the 2009 iMac. That one has been decommissioned. I have removed the SSD from it in favor of putting that into the 2007 MacBook, and I don't have any reason to use it anymore. It works on Catalina just fine, but the amount of RAM it has is okay. It has 8 gigabytes. But the real reason I upgraded is because I found a fantastic deal on the computer I'm recording this show on right now, or this episode, this video. This is a 2012 27-inch iMac. Complete with a 2.9 gigahertz Core i5, 24 gigabytes of RAM. Yes, you've heard that right. It's got 24 gigabytes of RAM because I decommissioned the 2011 MacBook in favor of using the SSD from that into a computer that I'm working on for a new video. I took the RAM out of that and the SSD out, and ultimately there's no real hope for the 2011 MacBook Pro. Honestly, it should have died years ago. I'm surprised that my my unit even lasted as long as it did before it completely gave out. I keep looking up because the way I have the studio set up, I have all of the old Macs that I've bought up on a shelf right in front of me, so I can kind of like, oh hey look, yeah, I remember when I used to work on that pain of an ass. So yeah, those have been decommissioned. The only Macs that I really have working at the moment are the 2012 iMac and this 2020 MacBook Pro, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about in a bit. I did want to talk a little bit more about the iMac. Not this iMac in particular, but the iMac as a whole. I'm sure most of you by now have either seen the reported leak or the mock-up based on the leak by Apple leaker Jon Prosser. I don't know where he gets his sources. I know he has a thing set up for employees to go anonymously, but that guy just gets crazy information. Anyways, so with this redesign to the iMac being an all-aluminum frame with a thin glass front, no chin, thin bezels, and the ports on the back being favorable to the even current iMac, let me say one thing. I love the design, but if I could have my one big wish for the new iMac, it would be that the ports or the area around the ports had some sort of rubberized coating, because the one caveat to owning an iMac is plugging stuff into the back of it. I swear it's like nails on a chalkboard doesn't begin to describe how much I hate the sound of a USB and scratching the back of an iMac if you're not careful with it. And most people aren't really going to be pulling their iMac out just to plug one thing in just to slide it back in. No, you're going to do that thing where you're reaching under and you're like, the Italian handshake, as it's called, where you like, yes, I'm trying to plug in a USB cable. How you doing? And it all the while it just scratches and hisses and makes the stupidest noises. Sometimes, if your iMac isn't grounded properly, it'll cause an arc, and isn't that just fun? No, I'm 100% advocating for the use of a rubberized material or even like a plastic coating around the outside of the port areas. Just something as a buffer. Because I'm sure that a lot of people have had bought used iMacs just to find that the ports are hilariously scratched. So I guess, yeah, that's my rant on the iMac. I'm sorry that I got a little bit excited like that, but I really have an opinion when it comes to this kind of thing, because my ears, while I'm not the most talented person with them, they're still somewhat sensitive, and that's one thing that really trips them up. So enough about the iMac. Let's get to a little bit of buyer's remorse. I'm talking, of course, about my 2020 MacBook Pro. I love this thing. This is an amazing machine. An amazing computer for what I paid at Micro Center. My remorse, my buyer's remorse, comes from the realization that this is the last Intel MacBook in the 13-inch that well, it's not exactly... Okay, so let me start over with that statement. This is one of the last MacBook Pros in the Intel lineup. And it no longer exists on Apple's website. If I go to buy MacBook Pro in 13-inch, we're going to look and we're going to see, of course, the M1 with the 8 cores and the 256 and 512 gigabytes of storage, respectively. We're going to see the 2 gigahertz quad Core i5 models, and then of course we've got the Core i7s as well, but nothing goes below 2 gigahertz anymore. Which makes me a little sad, because ultimately that means that this MacBook is probably going to be one of those weird cases where, because it's no longer sold and it only had like a 6-month shelf life, there's probably not going to be very many of them out there, and when parts start to fail and when things start to die off, it's going to be a real shame to have to admit that it was a waste of money. And it's not that it's a waste of money now, it's just you're not going to get the entire benefit of this when the parts start to fail. I do appreciate the design change, I do appreciate what it brought to the table, but it feels a lot... Actually, it feels a lot like I bet the PowerPC people felt when Intel MacBooks and iMacs and Mac Minis started to just take over. I'm sure a lot of those PowerPC people were like, well, crap, I bought this really expensive machine, and sure, there's going to be compatibility in software for it, but in the next few years, I don't know if that's going to be the case, and I think I may have shot myself in the foot a little bit. So yeah, a couple new videos coming up soon. This was a little bit of like a quick podcast kind of thing, just a little update, telling you guys about the little studio that I'm building here, giving you guys an update for the upcoming computer video that I'm building down here, and the video that's going to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the iPod. As usual, I thank you guys for watching, and remember, we're on this earth together. Just be cool to each other. There's too many idiots already. If you liked the video, please give me a like. If you have any comments, please let me know. If you have any requests for things that you can see me kind of affording and or getting done, please let me know in the comments as well. And remember, I'm broke like the rest of you, so I can't really afford too much, but I can have some fun every once in a while. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you all soon.